Bruce Willis dropped into a care home on August 15, 2025. The cost? Over $200,000 a year. But money isn't the tragedy here. The tragedy is that the man who once shouted over explosions in Die Hard can no longer speak at all. His wife, Emma, revealed she thought he had simply become distant over the years. The truth was far darker. His brain had been slowly dying, even before doctors had a name for it. And by the time anyone understood what was happening, it was too late. To understand how heartbreaking this moment really is, we need to go back to the very beginning of Bruce Willis's story. Bruce Willis was born on March 19, 1955, in Idar Oberstein, West Germany. His father, David Willis, was an American soldier stationed there after World War II, and his mother, Marlene, was a German woman from Kassel. From the start, Bruce's life was shaped by two cultures: the strict discipline of an American military household and the traditions of a post-war German family. But in 1957, everything shifted. Bruce was only 2 when his father left the army, and the family crossed the ocean to settle in New Jersey. Their new neighborhood wasn't glamorous. It was rough, filled with factory workers and struggling families. Bruce's father found work as a welder, and his mother took small jobs at banks. They lived paycheck to paycheck. By age 6, Bruce faced a problem that would define his childhood: a severe stutter. Words got trapped in his throat. Speaking out loud became painful, humiliating. Kids teased him endlessly, calling him Buck Buck. Sometimes he lashed out with his fists, but it didn't stop the shame. School was torture. He'd avoid speaking, avoid attention, even avoid class altogether, just to escape ridicule. And yet, something extraordinary happened when he was 15. He joined the drama club. On stage, the stutter disappeared. He could deliver lines fluently, clearly, with no hesitation. For the first time in his life, people listened. Acting gave him a voice, and that discovery changed the course of his entire life. By 1973, he had become student council president. Teachers who once doubted him now admired his confidence. Encouraged by theater, Bruce attended Montclair State University to study drama, where professors even gave him speech therapy. But by 1977, restless and ambitious, he dropped out and moved straight to New York City. When Bruce Willis stepped off the bus in New York City in the late 1970s, he wasn't stepping into the spotlight. He was stepping into survival. He had dropped out of Montclair State University, convinced that chasing theater in the city was his calling. But conviction doesn't pay rent. With no money and no network, Bruce grabbed whatever jobs he could find: bartending, waiting tables, hauling boxes, anything to keep a roof over his head. The bar became more than just work. It became his first stage. Behind the counter, Bruce didn't just pour drinks. He performed. He cracked jokes, did impressions, played his harmonica, and sometimes even skated to work just to make his grand entrance unforgettable. Patrons came for the drinks, but they stayed for the showman. This raw charisma would later become his secret weapon in Hollywood. But in those days, it was just how he made tips to buy groceries. Rejections, however, came like clockwork. Over 100 auditions in his first year ended with a firm no. Casting directors said he didn't have the look, the polish, the right sound. Yet Bruce kept going. He leaned into small, gritty performances off Broadway, low-paying plays in crumbling theaters where audiences barely filled a row. But it was there, in the shadows of Broadway, that he sharpened his craft. Every night he practiced timing, every line delivery became sharper, every stumble turned into fuel. There were moments when the dream nearly broke. At times, he slept on friends' couches. Other nights, when things got bad, he even crashed on benches. And then there was the night that changed him forever. A bar fight while trying to protect someone ended with his nose smashed and emergency surgery. Doctors warned it might damage his voice, but Bruce pulled through. The scar on his face, instead of holding him back, gave him the rugged look that would later set him apart from Hollywood's clean-cut leading men. Even in hardship, Bruce kept attracting people. In one Chelsea bar, he crossed paths with John Goodman, another struggling actor at the time. The two staged impromptu, chaotic performances for small crowds, shouting lines, improvising wild scenes, and collapsing in laughter. These late-night experiments weren't just fun. They forged the raw, fearless energy Bruce carried into every role for the rest of his life. Still, in the late 70s and early 80s, Bruce Willis was just another face in New York. a bartender with a crooked nose, a harmonica in his pocket, and a dream too big to let go. What nobody knew, not even Bruce himself, was that those messy years of rejection and resilience were shaping the exact star the world didn't yet know it needed. By the early 1980s, Bruce Willis was still hustling in New York, chasing auditions between late nights at the bar. Small TV parts trickled in, blink-and-you-miss-it appearances on shows like Miami Vice and tiny roles in commercials, but nothing even hinted at what was about to happen. Then, in 1985, opportunity knocked in the form of a quirky detective series called Moonlighting. More than 3,000 actors lined up for the role of David Addison Jr., a wisecracking private investigator opposite Sybil Shepherd. Willis didn't look the part. He wasn't a matinee idol. He wasn't a trained television veteran. In fact, ABC executives rejected him not once, not twice, but 11 times. Casting directors thought he was too scruffy, too sarcastic, too unpredictable. But Bruce kept showing up, determined to prove he was different. Finally, on what felt like his last chance, he walked into the room with his head shaved, earrings dangling, and an attitude that radiated, "Take it or leave it." He didn't just read the script. He played with it, tossing in improvised one-liners that broke the tension and had producers laughing out loud. That spark, that refusal to play it safe, was exactly what they didn't know they were looking for. Bruce Willis won the role. When Moonlighting premiered on March 3, 1985, everything changed. Audiences had never seen a detective show like it. The scripts were sharp and witty, blending mystery with romantic tension and slapstick humor. And right at the center was Willis, delivering rapid-fire dialogue with the timing of a stand-up comic and the unpredictability of someone who truly didn't care about Hollywood rules. Viewers loved him. Practically overnight, the bartender from New York became a household name. But success came at a price. The show was notoriously difficult to produce. Scripts often stretched over 120 pages, nearly double the norm, and filming took twice as long as other series. Behind the scenes, Willis and Shepherd clashed constantly. They bickered over lines, argued before scenes, and sometimes refused to talk off camera. That tension, however, gave the show its edge. Their love-hate chemistry was so electric, fans couldn't look away. By 1986, Bruce was everywhere. Interviews, magazine covers, late-night talk shows. He wasn't just acting anymore, he was shaping a persona. Bold, funny, and unpredictable. Yet the pressure weighed heavily. Long hours, constant rewrites, and non-stop publicity left him exhausted. In 1988, at the height of Moonlighting's popularity, Bruce collapsed from sheer exhaustion and was hospitalized. For the first time, fame showed its darker side. Still, nothing could erase what Moonlighting had done. It had turned Bruce Willis from a struggling unknown into a bona fide star. And while the show's chaos eventually led to its end in 1989, it had already done its job. It had catapulted Bruce straight into Hollywood's sights. Within months, a script called Die Hard would land on his desk, and the course of his career and movie history was about to change forever. By 1988, Hollywood was ready to take a risk. A new action movie called Die Hard needed a lead actor. Big names, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, even Frank Sinatra, turned it down. So the studio offered the role to Bruce Willis. The paycheck? $5 million. Industry insiders thought it was insane to pay that much to a TV actor. Filming was grueling. Explosions and stunts left Bruce with permanent partial hearing loss in his left ear. But when Die Hard hit theaters on July 15, 1988, it exploded, earning over $140 million worldwide. Bruce Willis wasn't just a TV star anymore. He was an action hero. He followed it with Look Who's Talking, earning $10 million for just a few days of voice work. Then came Die Hard 2, The Fifth Element, Armageddon, and more. Bruce Willis became one of the highest-paid, most recognizable stars in Hollywood. Off-screen, Bruce's life was just as headline-grabbing. In 1987, he married Demi Moore after just 4 months of dating. Together they had 3 daughters, Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah. They were Hollywood's power couple, balancing blockbuster careers with family life. But fame brought tension. Rumors of affairs swirled. By 2000, their marriage ended in divorce. Bruce paid Demi up to $90 million, one of the most expensive divorces in Hollywood history. Yet remarkably, they remained close. Demi even attended his second wedding years later. Bruce wasn't afraid to take risks. His role in Pulp Fiction in 1994 revived his career, proving he wasn't just an action star. In The Sixth Sense, 1999, he delivered one of his most acclaimed performances in a film that grossed $673 million worldwide. But not everything was a hit. Films like Hudson Hawk, Heart's War, and Bandits flopped. By the 2010s, Bruce was appearing in a flood of low-budget straight-to-video movies. Fans didn't understand why. The truth came out in 2022. His family announced Bruce had been diagnosed with aphasia, a condition affecting his ability to speak and understand language. In 2023, the diagnosis worsened, frontotemporal dementia. By 2025, Bruce's condition had advanced so far that his family could no longer care for him at home. On August 15th, Emma made the heartbreaking decision to move him into a care home. Their daughters, Mabel and Evelyn, just 13 and 11, were kept shielded from the worst of it. The facility cost more than $200,000 a year, but offered the 24/7 care he now needed. Bruce could no longer speak. The man who once delivered some of the most iconic lines in movie history now communicated only through gestures and brief expressions. Yet, sometimes, just sometimes, he laughed. That same unmistakable laugh that once filled movie sets. And when music from his old album The Return of Bruno played, something lit up in his eyes. Those fleeting moments were priceless for his family, but they were also reminders of what had been lost. Bruce Willis's journey is one of resilience, transformation, and heartbreak. From a stuttering boy in New Jersey, to a struggling actor in New York, to the unlikeliest action hero in Hollywood. His voice may be gone, but his legacy, the wit, the grit, the laughter, lives on. If this story touched you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more incredible life stories, and tap the bell so you don't miss a future upload. Because even when legends fall silent, their stories keep speaking to us.